Hey everybody, welcome back to Guns and Gadgets, your premier source for Second Amendment news. The ATF is they're gearing themselves for a push for registration, so it seems, wiping out the person-to-person market for firearms transactions, so it seems, and aiming towards everybody has to lock up stuff all the time, so it seems. Stick by for more info on that. So let's move to Alabama for today's news. It appears as though that Alabama, specifically the Mobile area, has had a big problem with stolen firearms. In fact, according to the ATF trace reports, in 2018 there were over 6,500 stolen firearms recovered in Alabama alone. It was so much of a problem that they had a Lock It Up campaign going, and since then they've seen a drastic reduction in the amount of stolen firearms. But that didn't stop the ATF from saying some naughty things. Marcus Watson is, I don't know if he's the agent in charge or the special agent in charge, but he oversees the field office that oversees Alabama. And he has said some crazy things. Let's get into it. I'm going to give you his quotes so that you can take it from him, from the horse's mouth.
Well, new at 5 tonight, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms says Alabama is an easy target for criminals to get a gun. For years, we've told you about the stolen gun problems in Mobile, including last year's police campaign telling legal gun owners to lock up their weapons.
NBC 15's Rachel Wilkerson reports it's not just the stolen guns causing the ATF headaches, it's Alabama's loose gun laws as well. Rachel?
That's right, Kimmy Greg. The ATF says there was a strong Second Amendment belief here in Alabama as well as other surrounding states, but not a state system of registration or firearms requirements.
And people know that. So this becomes like a pipeline almost for firearms leaving legal commerce, and then they're sold at some flea market, some Craigslist sale, and somebody may not ask all the questions that they should. And someone that's a little smart can circumvent state laws and go from a Chicago, a place that has extreme firearms violence, but very strict state laws about purchase.
Marcus Watson runs the ATF field division that oversees Alabama. He says our state is a sore state for guns because gun laws are lax compared to other states. An individual may purchase 10 firearms legally, go out, shoot them, they're a sports shooter, then they transfer that firearm not from dealer to dealer, but individual to individual. Watson says another problem is the lack of gun registration requirements here make it difficult for law enforcement to determine if a gun was stolen or not in certain crimes. It is a huge problem. He says a gray market has emerged in Alabama, selling firearms on the street. It creates a secondary market that people use guns almost like commerce. On the street, a firearm is very valuable. You don't have to break in that house. You don't have to potentially go to that firearms licensee and give up your information. If I can get that gun at a secondary market, nobody knows who I am, I can present myself as anybody. And then that gun ends up in the hand of some gangbanger on the street in Chicago, Michigan, Alabama, wherever. According to the latest ATF trace report, over 6,500 stolen guns were recovered in Alabama in 2018. Many of those were stolen from unlocked cars. We've actually had that incident creep up throughout the field division, not just in Mobile. ATF Director of Industry Operations Stephen Kolb says licensees, surprisingly, aren't required to do so.
There's no requirement for a licensee to lock up his guns. We encourage him to do so.
So there are a couple things worth noting in this little interview here. The ATF is immediately saying that you, the law-abiding gun owner in Alabama, is just the same as a criminal who steals guns and sells them on they call it the gray market, but the black market, okay? That you are no better than the common thief because you can't, you can't take care of your firearms according to the ATF. So you've heard it there in their own words. There's no type of registration to help them figure out whose gun it is, and there's no law forcing you to lock it up, and therefore, because you can't do anything for yourself, according to the ATF, they think we're just a bunch of bumbling idiots. We're the ones who obviously are supplying Chicago with all the guns, not the criminals. Not that the guns are on the street. No matter what law you pass, does not affect a single criminal because criminals don't follow law. But they aren't. Just truth does not work. Facts schmacks. They're gonna try to get the sympathy and play on the emotion and push for registration and push for safe storage laws. And the big thing, if you watch that and you were paying attention, It's the person-to-person sale that they're after now. And we've seen that in numerous states in the last couple of weeks that I've reported on with universal background checks. All that looks to do is destroy gun shows and kill the person-to-person transaction. That is it, because we all know that background checks are already done. So this is very, very telling. You have a major field office, Mobile, Alabama, telling people in a public interview on their local news station that we need registration, we need safe storage, and you people selling them person to person, you're supplying Chicago criminals. It's you guys. When will they back off? I don't think they will, honestly. So I want everybody to pay attention to what this field agent said, because that is the message they're trying to get out, without a doubt. Registration leads to confiscation. Get rid of person-to-person sales, get rid of the gun show loophole, and force people to lock them up at all times when they're not on their person, because when things go bump in the night and our friends, the criminal, the liberals' friends, the criminals, kick in your door and try to rob you and hurt you and kill you, you're not going to be ready, because you have to go to your safe and find the key in the dark, or remember your code and then load it and then acquire your target, and then that time he's coming in armed, because none of these laws stop them. You're a danger to their voter. Pass this along, because I am sure the next group of laws you see in Alabama are going to be directly related to what Mr. Watson just said. Now, folks, if you like the news like that, the Second Amendment news, good, bad, ugly, or indifferent, please subscribe to the channel. This channel is growing faster than many have ever thought it could, including myself, and I owe it all to you. Please like and subscribe. Please share this with your friends, because this is the only way this news gets out. I want to thank all of my viewers. I am so thankful for your support. Myself, Ben, and Andy, we are in shock every time we get together and see how the channel is growing. And I owe it all to you. We can't do this without you, so thank you. We are a family, and I'm so glad that you're part of mine. Thank you to you, the viewer of Guns and Gadgets. That's it for today. The ATF, they're up to no good. Please pass it along. Until we see each other again, be safe, stay vigilant, and carry a weapon. Take care, everybody.